Alright guys, so welcome back to do now number 2. So, let's start. We're going to start with number 6. Remember, our standard is still SIN 402. And so it is about experimental design. So we need to figure out why things were done in the experiment. So step 1 is read the question and find the key terms. That's step 2. So we're going to do that. As part of the experiments, the students directly observed, that's a key term, all of the following properties of gas Z. So let's see. Gas Z is CO2. Chemical X reacts with this, and CO2 gas, which is gas Z. CO2 is usually inert, unreacted, but when bubbled, forms carbonic acid. So that's what it does, right? So that's what it does. This one says chemical X, when reacted, okay. Gas Z is N2, but the identity of chemical X is impossible to determine. Let's see, where else does it say? Gas Z is both colorless and odorless at STP. Gas Z. When bubbled through H2O, gas Z produces a moderately, so that's what it looks like. And that's what it does. And this is what it's made of. Okay, the 4 students then each propose a possible identity. Gas Z is N2. Alright, so our answer here is C. So they didn't directly observe this. So they never saw the molecules. So that's how we know that 6 is C. Alright, number 7. Which of the following best describes the procedure performed by the students during the experiments? During the experiments, chemical X was. So what did they do? The 4 students performed experiments to determine. During their experiments, they dissolved chemical X in 0.1 molar solution of C2H4O2, and then they noticed that it reacted to produce an unknown gas. Now let's see if they did anything else. Chemical X is impossible to determine. Chemical X is. So they dissolved it in 0.1 molar acetic acid. So I'd say that the answer to 7 is A. They dissolved it in acid. So you just got to match key terms for this one. All right, number 8. Which of the following actions was likely not taken by the students during the experiments? Collecting an unknown gas in a sealed container, exposing an unknown gas to an open flame, mixing an unknown solid with acidic solution of known concentration. They definitely did that. That's what they did to chemical X. So we can cross off C for something they did not do. Weighing a small amount of an unknown solid in order to calculate its molecular formula. So, let's see. Collecting an unknown gas in in a sealed container. So high pressure. So they probably did that, because that would be sealed. And then it says heated in O2 here, so we can say that. So the answer is D. So they never mention weighing it. So you find the key terms, right? And then you go back to the passage and you match the key terms. So every time I see a chemical Z or chemical X, I'm going to highlight it, and that's going to give me that information. Okay, we only have 2 more. So number 9 is about different passages. So which of the following did scientists measure in experiment 1? So I'm going to go, let's see, air temperature, soil temperature, NH4 uptake, NO3 minus intake. These are my key terms. And so I have to see if they're there in experiment 1. So I'm going to flip back to experiment 1 here. And I'm going to read. Scientists collected root samples of beech trees. The root samples were incubated in nutrient solutions. The solutions were then analyzed to determine the net uptake of NO3- and NH4+. Figures show the uptake of the root over a 2-year period and the corresponding soil temperature. So we have soil temp, then we have NH4 plus uptake, and then it was NO3 minus uptake. And now I'm going to go back to page 7 where my answers are, and I'm going to match these key terms. So soil temperature, yep. NH4 uptake, yep. NO3 minus uptake, yep. Air temperature, no. So it looks like they did 2, 3, and 4 only. So my answer to number 9 is C. All right, our last problem for the exit ticket today. What pen color have I used? Have I used green? I don't think so. All right, in experiment 3, which of the following, so in experiment 3, that's where I'm going to go. So read the question. My key terms are experiment 3 and NO3 minus uptake. So I'm going to go to experiment 3 and see what they did for NO3 uptake. So the procedure for measuring NO3 minus uptake used in experiment 2 was repeated, except the scientist held the temperature constant and varied the NH4 concentration. So this told me that I also need to look at experiment 2. So I'm going to take notes here. So experiment 2 procedure, except constant 20 degrees temperature and varied NH4 plus concentration. Concentration in science is those brackets. This equals concentration. That's just a shorthand, but we'll go over that a lot more in other modules. Okay, now I'm going back to experiment 2. Scientists collected the roots. The samples were incubated in nutrient solutions, identical in composition to experiment 1. Those solutions were analyzed to determine net uptake of NO3 and NO4. So it looks like they incubated them. The procedure was incubate in nutrients. Now, here, this says, which of the following did scientists vary? And I'm going to find the word vary here and see what that means. And it says NH4 of nutrient solution. So, temperature, nope, we know it got held constant. Volume of nutrient solutions, it does not say that. NH4 plus concentration, I have NH4 plus concentration written in my notes right here. So the answer to 10 is C. And that's it for the second exit ticket.